Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And damn, I just got choked up. We got the wood stove going. I finally cleaned up around there. I still got this little bit here that I got to put in the fire, get rid of a bunch of old boxes and stuff. I ain't burning those. They'll get burnt, but I'm gonna cut them open first. Anyway, we're having our Trump coffee, and I didn't realize I have two of them out here. Got one on the warmer and one I just brought out. But anyway, what we're doing today is we're fabricating a bracket, just like I said I was going to do. So right now what I've got is this here is the steel bar that I turned to put in there, and I drove it in there. Now it would have just slid back and forth, and I could have slid it back and forth and in and out there anytime I wanted to. But because it hit the disc brake and indented that, it made a indent on the inside of that. And I tried to file it, and I got it the best I could, but finally I was able to just tap it in with a rubber mallet. So, I mean, it's easy to tap it off of there if I wanted to. But anyway, what I've done is mocked this up on a straight edge here. And if I can find the bracket, guys, I'll show you. Everything fell off my bench while I was bending that bracket too. All right, so we've got the bracket mounted in here in the vise just to hold it in place, and I put this straight edge on it to make sure that it's level with this. And then I had to make that imprint in it so that it would go up against there just like that one. So I can line that up on that straight edge, and I can hold that in place. So now I got to find my holding apparatus. We'll try a little mini. So what I'm doing is, first of all, I put that mark right there, and I'm debating on whether to take that out, because that's the way this one is. It's got I just put it on the back side of it, drew them two holes where I wanted it to be, so if I ever needed to line it back up to make sure I was right, I could use them two dots. But that was to get the shape of this. So now we want to get the shape of this side over here. So that's what we're trying to accomplish by doing this. So what I'll do is line that up to that right there just like it is. And you can't really go by the tops of these because this one's been flattened down. So I'm not real sure how straight that is. But I've got this thing in here pretty straight. So I'll just put that up there and put that to the edge of this, and then we'll clamp that down. Just like so. I just hope that clamp ain't, I think that clamp's going to be in my way. So let me see if I can't turn that around. Yeah, take that one off. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to take and get one of them bolts, and I think that thing's still going to be in my way, so it has to be that way. Well, that's probably why I done it the first time. Alright, so we got that clamped back like that. It's just figuring out what's next. I gotta clean up my bench, man. Every time I set something on it, something falls off. I'm working on it, guys. I've gotten things, a little few things organized. Alright, so now I'm gonna go get a bolt that came out of it. So we'll take this bolt and we're going to slide that thing in there. and we're going to make our mark right where that's going to be. And then we got to match it on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark halfway in the middle of that bolt. And then I'm going to come over here on the quarter side and make another mark. Alright. And we're just going to match it on the other side. So now that we've got that marked, we can take it off. Alright. So now we get to get our square. And draw our X. And right there's the center of our hole. So now we're just going to take this and try to do this in the mill. I'll probably have to use a couple 1, 2, 3 blocks on this one. But I'll meet you at the mill. So what we need to do is put this in a way to where we can repeat it on the other side. So, but here's the problem. When you go to tighten that up, this is what's going to happen. So you have to stop that from happening and make it more rigid. So we're going to take a 1, 2, 3 block and put in there 2 of them, and we're going to tighten it up that way. Actually, yeah. Make sure it's straight. And it really wouldn't hurt, but that's some pretty tough stuff. It should be okay, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the height. There goes the airplane. That 24 volt power supply is a noisy bastard. Alright, let's see if we can get a big drill bit in there. Nope. So we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Alright, so we're going to use this bit right here. And it's just a center drill. But it is .20 millimeters. So what we need to go to is, let me get a copy of it. What we need is about 11 millimeters. So we're going to start with this one and we're going to go all the way through with it. Take it clear to the shank. And I just hope this stuff's not hard to drill. And this is some pretty hard metal. I got a sheet of that stuff. Right there's the piece I cut it out of. And it cut pretty easy in the bandsaw, but that don't mean shit when it comes to drilling. Alright, so I've got that pretty tight. So we're going to come in here. And it just needs to be eyeballed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that bit right to the edge. And then I'm just going to bring the bit, the center of the bit, right at the edge of the metal. So half of the bit's on the metal, half of it's off the metal. Alright, so then I'm going to set my DRO on the X, and we're going to come in to my first line. And I'm going to say an even 16 millimeters will be fine. Alright, so the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to duplicate it on the other side. So I need to know my measurements. So I need to know where center is. Probably still won't be able to get center. So I'm wondering which one I should start with. Probably this one. It's easier to see. Alright, so now I'm going to set my Y 0. And then we're going to come in to where the line is. And then we're just going to judge it. So right now it says 26.440. We're just going to go to 26. So that makes it easy to remember. 16 millimeters from the edge of this side and 26 millimeters from the edge of this side to the center. That'll get you where it's supposed to be. So now we're going to zero this, 0 Y. Now that is 0. So now when we flip it over, only one of them is going to be 0, because remember, the blocks will be on this side then. So that will put this further that way. So this one, that's why I wanted to do the 16. So I know it's at 26 from here to the center. So that's why I wanted them numbered, 16 and 26. So now we're going to go ahead and drill this. Enjoy the music. Alright, so now it just so happens that this one here is the same size as we need. So this is a bigger centering drill. So we're going to switch it. We have to do this because no drill bit's long enough or too short to make the distance, because I don't have any more travel. So I have to do it this way. That's all my travel right there. Having a problem with my chuck. If I leave that thing set long enough, I have to have this on the key to get it loose. It tightens up, and it's a Jacobs. It's a nice chuck. Goes from I think 1/2 inch to 0. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do this one too. So now we got our holes drilled. It's a little warm. So let's go over and see what she looks like. So now we're going to take the rod and stick it through here. Yeah, I need a longer rod. I knew that was going to be the case. That file looks like it might be the same size. She looks good to me. Alright, so we got that where it's supposed to be. So now we got these here bendovers, and I'm not real sure how I'm going to do that. It's probably going to have to require heat. But I'm debating on whether I want to do that or take maybe a V and put right here and weld it in instead of that. I mean, I understand why that's bent over, and I would like for mine to bend over, but I'm going to tell you, this stuff, there's no way to hold it and to bend it over in the vise. So it would have to be put in the vise like this and bent like that. But this stuff, man, it was hard to bend that long of a piece. Can you imagine how hard it would be to bend that? The only way you could do it was to heat it up with the torch. And I could do that. I just don't want to. So I'm thinking about just putting a V right here, a wedge, to support that. And it would work just the same. In fact, it would evenly distribute the load. And it's going to be a 1/4 inch wedge and welded on both sides. So I think that would work. So now the next thing we need to do is I'm going to wait to cut this out, because if I don't need to cut that out, I don't want to cut it out because it's stronger with all of it in there. And if it will work with all that in it, I'm going to leave that meat in there. So that's why that hasn't been cut yet. And my hands are filthy, guys. So what I've done is welded all this up right here. And this side, I added a piece to it. So now that we're done with our measurements and we've got our piece made, now I can drop all my stuff. So this one here was cracked right there, so I re-welded all that. That's not a crack, that's just the edge of the weld. I didn't get it all out. This side over here, I made a new plate to put on it. Now it's got that piece missing out right there, and I don't think it's really going to matter. So I wanted to put the plate on the inside, but if you did, you wouldn't be able to get it on your rear end. So I had to put it on the outside and weld all the way around it. So now we have the round piece for the other side. We took all that off of that with the lathe, and we'll put this up here where it was supposed to be. See, it goes right into that spot right there. It's only one way it can go. So I'm glad it broke like that. So see how easy that slides in there? Well, this hump right here that made it where I had to drive it in. So now, in order for me to do this, I got to get the well, maybe not. It's going to be tricky making this because this is actually longer than the distance it is in the frame, and I'll show you what I mean. So the next two pieces I made was these pieces. Now these here are threaded for 8mm 1.25, and that's because I found 4 matching bolts off of an S10, and I threaded those 2 holes on this plate. So now all I have to do is drill me a hole here, drill me a hole here, and I'm hoping I can drill it with this rear end in the way, and that will bolt on there just like that wherever it ends up being. So I made 2 of those, one for this side and one for that side. So now we can take this and it will go just like that. And then this, I made these holes bigger than that because we have to cock it to the side a little bit. So we'll put that one on. Then we'll put this one on. Then we'll take this and put it down in here. While I hold it, of course. So see, you can see how far, well, all right there. So let's go ahead and stick us a bolt in there. See, it's crooked right now. So what I need to do is, if they was to do this at the factory, they would have made it evenly spaced on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that to where they look like they measure, because from where I'm looking, the edge of this is at the edge of that hole. So that's pretty even. So this is bigger than the frame is wide, because they welded it all the way around and they wanted to make sure that they got the top. So if you look at the other one, you can see what I mean. I'll show you that. See how that is? It comes out to the edge of the inside of this frame. The bottom, however, sticks out about 1/8 inch. So as long as we get this pipe centered, we'll know this rear end needs to come over 1/2 inch. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bolt back in this, if I haven't already screwed up the alignment for this one. And no, I know this is not a pry bar, but I don't need to pry that hard. Alright. The other one's broke off, so we're only going to have one bolt holding this on. It'll get us right this way. It won't get us right this way. So we'll just leave that in there like that. So basically what I need to do, and this is what sucks about it, is I have to put this up on jacks, and I got to take the upper A-frame off. I got to take the axles off, the wheels and all that stuff, and put it up on jacks. So I can loosen this rear end up to where I can move it, because these things they have it at a bind. So I don't know if this thing, does this have a neutral? If I can put it in neutral, which I believe it should be in. And the parking brake's off, but it just doesn't want to move around. I can't get it to go that way. So I got to release all the pressure off of it so that I can maneuver this and block it up and position it the way I need it to be. You know, put a block in here from the frame to this to hold it this way, and a block under it for the width, or how far I want it off the floor. And this is going to line itself up. We just need to tilt it up this way, and it won't go that way. So yeah, it just doesn't want to go. And they sure don't give you nothing to pry on. But anyway, them holes are threaded tight, so they'll be like lock nuts. They're pretty tight. My tap must be getting wore out or something. Now hell, I've only used it twice. Alright, so now, see there, I can get that up against there flat. Now remember, we got to come up a little bit because right now it's resting on the bottom. We want it to be in the center of that hole. So I'll probably have to wrap something around that to fill that in. Just enough time for me to get a tack on this side right here in 3 places. Once I get a tack, then I have to take it all back out and weld this one and grind the backside off because there's stick out on the other side. If I weld those together at the same time, I'll be painting myself into a corner where I won't be able to remove it at all. So it'll be trapped in these 2 holes. So I have to weld this one up first. Then that way I can slide this out and grind and go weld it, and then I can do this one. The main thing is we get this level with this, and I've got an idea for that too. We got a straight bar here that once those are lined up, those should be parallel with each other. If I could get it to go down, it probably would be. Let's try it while it's not in the hole. Once it's parallel, then you know that's right. So it's gonna work out nice.